is be true to what you said on paper.
Well, good morning. Welcome to At the Round Table with Mamleo. And we want to thank our sponsor, Guarantee Rate Mortgage Company. For all your mortgage needs, give branch manager Cora Holbrook a call at area code 781-342-0252. Guarantee Mortgage is located at 75 State Street in downtown Boston, Mass. Guarantee Rate Mortgage Company. Guaranteed to exceed your expectations. Hardy said, Hardy, good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ellison. My co-host, my brother from another is in the house. The doctor is in the house to give you a checkup from the neck up. I want to say good morning to my co-host and my brother, Dr. Bradley. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How you doing? I was just having my volume adjusted on my headset.
All right.
And we have my friend here, Hobbs, doing.
He's been downgraded to friend?
No, he's a pastor.
He's been downgraded to friend?
Why not?
That's how we all brothers here.
Oh, man. You put me on the spot so early in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, my brother from another
There we go. I called you my brother.
Yeah, I hear you. But I'm here. By the grace of God.
Good morning. I just want to see if all the cylinders are firing.
Now they're firing. Okay. You know, I was going with only about 2 or 3, but now I got them all kicked.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that teamwork makes the dream work. There you go. And good morning, my brother, Pastor Haas.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
By the grace of God.
Speaking of the grace of God, before we go any further, if you would mind, sir.
Sure. Father God, we bless you, we honor you, we give you praise, we give you glory. We thank you for your mercy, for your grace, for this day that you've made, and we are rejoicing and we're glad, and we ask you just to bless this day, bless this broadcast, bless all that's said and done in and through. Be careful to give you the praise and the glory when countless has done. In Jesus' name,
amen. So, Doctor, how are you, sir? I mean, it's been a lot going on in the world.
Well, yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm blessed and highly favored, man. I'm still here.
Okay.
You know, this is a day that God has given me, so I intend to use it in His honor.
All right. So we want to remind folks as well, MAMLEO, the Massachusetts Association of Minority Law Enforcement Officers, guess who's turning 55, Dr. Bradley?
The association?
They're 55 years old. It's the 55th anniversary gala, April 29th, 2023 at 7 p.m. It's going to be held at the Valencia Waterfront Restaurant and Ballroom at 20 Erickson Street. For more information, give MAMLEO headquarters a call at area code 617-436-6868. That's 617-436-6868.
I was going to ask, and how do I get my hands on a ticket? In fact, I just saved the date for my wife and I.
Sure. Actually, I got my ticket the other day, so you can go on, they have a site on Venmo and stuff, but if you give, in fact, I'll send you the information.
Okay.
But you give them a call, their office there a call for more information regarding the ticket information. Like I said, again, it's April 29th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Also want to remind MAMLEO members that the annual, the monthly meeting will take place today at 12 o'clock at MAMLEO headquarters at 61 Columbia Road. So if you want to get your tickets, you can get them there today as well. In fact, the board members, there'll be someone there from 10 o'clock, actually a little earlier than that today. So if you're on your way home, you want to stop by and grab some tickets. It's going to be quite an event. I know I got my tickets the other day, and I was looking at the count, and the numbers are getting pretty high. So they may.
Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's excellent.
You know, when we had Harry Scale says he needs tickets too. All right. Yes. So you can get your tickets. We had our 50th. I think you were in attendance there.
I was in attendance at
phenomenal at Lombardo's.
Phenomenal.
I mean, we were trying to bring in more tables at then. That's why I say, folks, we cannot plan at last minute.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have packed the whole floor. We had about 400 people, and we could have had the other space. But like I said, folks, we can't plan like that. So they're planning to quit. When they sell out, they'll sell out, and I do believe they're going to sell out this year as well. Speaking of which, I want to say good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Harry Scales. Our brother's timing in early this morning. He's going to get his tickets. I know he's going to be there. So good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Scales. I want to say also good morning to our brother Rhodes Pierre out there, avid listener there, as well as brother Jamal out there. Say good morning to our sister Denise Tapina Reed. Hope she's up and listening. Hope she's doing well as well this morning. So I want to say good morning to her as well. And Dr. Bradley.
Good morning to my brother William Bridgeforth in Gary, Indiana.
Here we come. We're right there. So good morning.
It's probably going to be cold over there than it is here, though.
Yeah, you know, we have been fortunate here
fortunate.
that we have had some extremely warm weather here. I mean, our winters, I think, but they said a little rain and snow Tuesday
Mixture,
morning.
Tuesday,
but
it shouldn't be much of a problem.
No.
In fact, I haven't even maneuvered that nice and beautiful snowblower you gave me. It's in the back of my shed. Man.
Well, let me just say this to you, my brother. I'm glad you have it. I hope you need it more than I do.
Oh man, you bet.
I'm older. I hope you'll need it more than I do, because I can tell you, even if I had it, I don't want to use it.
Yeah. Well, it's been very helpful when we
yeah.
had snow last year. It was.
It'll move some snow.
Oh yes, it does, and you're nice and comfortable.
Yes,
hands are nice and
hand
warm.
warmer. The whole thing. So it's the Cadillac of snow blowers, right?
That it is.
And I know you're a Mercedes guy, so
Well, that's all right. You know, when it comes down to that, I'm not arguing.
no,
I will not argue.
No, listen, you have to take care of my brother.
I appreciate you.
Family,
I appreciate you, man.
Family is family. Like
It's
I said.
nice to have a brother like you.
Let me tell you, I mean this sincerely. You know, you have been an inspiration to me. You have been a big brother to me. You're someone that I have deep love and respect for.
Thank you, brother.
And very proud of. You know, I talk about you quite a bit. You know, I think that's why folks kind of say, "Oh, you guys work well together." I said, because when you have a genuine love and respect for someone,
exactly,
it is so easy to just let it flow. I tell people, if you don't see a person like that for 5 years, 10 years, when you see them, it's like you just pick up. And there's some people you see every day and you could do without them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I leave it there.
No.
I leave it there.
Absolutely. I didn't name it. That's why you don't name them.
But you can talk about
it. But you can say they exist, right? You can say that they exist.
Exactly.
Like I said, a lot going on. As your brother with Bridgeford says, good morning, you know. So, like I said, folks, the tickets are going fast at Manley's Gala. It is definitely the place you're going to be April 29th at 7 p.m. at Venetia over in Dorchester. Like I said, dress to impress. And
well, I'm definitely going to get over there and get my tickets. Because like I said, I saved the date. And my wife was like, well, whatever this event is, I haven't told her yet.
Yeah.
I better enjoy it. You will enjoy this.
Right.
Being a member of Mamleo, and you have just retired. And,
right.
You know, so.
And she is officially retired.
She officially retired as of the 13th of March.
Okay.
So she went in yesterday on Friday.
So Sunday,
Thursday, and gave her all the stuff.
Oh, yeah. So tomorrow, Monday is officially her last day, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Monday is officially her last day.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much,
Erica Bradley,
for
your service to the citizens.
34 years.
34 years.
34 years.
Wow. She doesn't even look like she's old enough to have for 34 years.
Yeah, well, she came on young, but she's still a young, beautiful woman. I got very lucky with that, man.
I said we married above our pay grade.
We married above everything. Yeah. I'm very fortunate to have her.
You are. Guys said, you guys work well together.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, and I think again, you guys have, for me, as someone who got married later in life, and that inspiration, right, of showing me how it is to be a father, to be a husband, right? You're being a student of Dr. Bradley has been very beneficial. No, really. I mean, because you can always look at other people and emulate wrong, right? Sometimes right doesn't seem as cool.
It's cool, yeah.
But you showed us how it was to be cool to be a father, to be a husband.
It's a pleasure, man.
No,
it's a gift from God. When Scripture says that man can't do this alone, he has to have a helpmaker.
Yeah.
And my wife has definitely helped me make it right. And having been that head of the household, and a godly man, and I said, I don't know about anyone else, but in my house, we're gonna celebrate and love the Lord. But and that's how I raised my kids, and that's how I did my family.
What I also saw is you guys blended the families seamlessly, and that is very difficult, if almost impossible to do at times, right? Yeah. And the way you guys did that it should be commended.
It's all about love, brother.
Yeah.
It's all about love.
Yeah.
When I married my wife, she had 2 girls, and I never seen them any differently. They're my girls, and that's it. So the same thing I did for my 2 girls that I fathered, as my father said, planted.
Yeah.
I did the same thing for the 2 that I took on that responsibility of being a father.
Well, like I said, you should all be commended. I thank you, and I'm going to continue to be under your tutelage. You're not getting rid of me, bro.
I hear you, bro. Well, you hold your pocket. That would be my next advice. It's all going to come to you.
Don't I know? I always say when you say I say, hey, Dr. Brad, how's the family? They're expensive.
They're expensive.
I told you. I remember when you bought one of your daughters a car, and I'm like, man, can you adopt me? I need a
fatherhood is not a place for a selfish man. I'm telling you.
Man, you ain't lying.
It is not the status for a selfish man.
You have brought it to a new level, brother. Yeah. Thank you. So, folks, if you want to give us a call here, the calling number here is 617-282-0685. 617-282-0685 is the calling number. And at 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about the problems over at the convention center, Dr. Brother. I don't know if you've been monitoring that.
No, I have been monitoring the situation at the federal level with the Fox News and the Tucker Carlson line.
No. This is the convention center.
This is the convention center here in
Boston. Yes. Okay. Yes. There's been some allegations of some severe racial problems, discrimination taking place over there. Yes, and it's coming to light. Matter of fact, I believe the Attorney General's office for the state here, Andrea Kimball, is looking into it, as well as the state auditor is looking into the practices over there. There's been a lot of claims from people of color, black people, that they have been treated unfairly. Some racial remarks and comments and name calling taking place over there. So we're going to get into that in the 8 o'clock hour. It's just been really disturbing. And that's a state-run. People don't know that. They think this is a private entity.
No, it's a state-run entity.
So
that's the one in South Boston.
No. That's the Boston Convention. This is the one over on Boylston Street. The Heinz Convention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I know we have two.
Right.
I was trying to figure out where we were. Okay.
We probably look into that one. It's probably not much better, but we're going to take
I was going to say, that's what came to my mind when you mentioned that. And I'm saying, oh, man, this is relatively new in the grand scheme of things. And we're already having that, but that doesn't shock me.
No, it doesn't. It's the world we live in. In fact, that's what we're talking about. It's what's going on here with this Dominion lawsuit against Fox News. It's just been revealing. I don't even how you can't even call Fox and news in the same sentence.
Well, brother, I said to myself whenever I listen to this thing on other channels, I do not have Fox on any device in my home. I would not allow it. And I said to myself, so you're trying to tell me what I didn't see what I saw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all throughout history, white America tries to change the narrative. Every episode they try to change the narrative, but that was appalling. So you're telling me that that was a peaceful visit,
right?
Peaceful day.
You cherry pick, right?
Are you kidding me? I mean, it's almost comical, and people will believe that.
But these are the same people, like the Tucker Carlsons and Sean Hannity, all these folks who behind the scenes, when they had to put their hand up and tell the truth, right, under oath, tell about how they really felt about Trump, how they had such a disdain for him, and how they didn't believe the election was stolen, right? But to make money, as the owner of Fox, Rupert Murdoch, said, it's not red or blue, it's green, right?
Well, that's the color that really matters in America, but I think that's also going to be their undoing, in my opinion, because myself, people like me who are conscious of where they're spending their money, I will not do business with anyone who's sponsoring a show like that.
No.
Because if you're sponsoring someone who's lying to me, what are you doing?
Well, that's why I don't have any My Pillow products in my home or anything. I scan a lot of times, like you. I scan these networks and see who is sponsoring.
Who's sponsoring them?
And if I'm buying that product, I discontinue. Just like my family and I have just recently, we no longer do any business at Walgreens because of their stance on deciding. Like I said, I am pro-life, but I'm not going to tell other people how to live their life. And so if you're going to stop making products available because someone feels that they don't want them to have abortion pills and they have access to medical, and a lot of times this is for medical things, like I said. And like I said, I'm not the morals police. And so if that's what you feel, then I can't spend my money with you. Well, that's my choice. I'm one person, but
wasn't aware of that. But I will stop doing business with them as well, because I don't. I agree with you. I'm a man of Christ. I value life. I think the only one who has the right to take it is the Lord.
Right.
But that's not my. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know the circumstances, and I don't think that government should be a part of making that decision. That's an individual decision.
Well, when you listen to some of these, there were some women who were saying they had some medical they almost said they almost had to die in order for their doctors, because the child was not going to live. They were becoming septic because of the problems and complications they were having. But these doctors were worried about being sued, so they would not do the procedure until this person was almost and that should not be
the case.
No.
Imagine the pain. You know, I mean, the physical and emotional pain that person is going through.
There you go.
You know, and all because you have this idea, and I often ask myself, why? Why are we inserting government into these personal decisions? We're supposed to be a so-called free country. What is so free about a country when I can't make my decision what I'm going to do with my body?
Well, the same thing to your point, Dr. Brown. The hypocrisy is these are the same people that says, "Hey, I have a right to a gun. I have a right to certain things, but you don't have a right."
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
You're not going to tell me whether I can carry a gun, but you're going to tell a woman what to do with their body.
Exactly.
That's why I will not step foot in Florida. I love Florida weather this time of the year, but I will not spend a dime in that state.
Yeah, I saw him talk about him being that governor. I don't want to mention his name. I don't want to give him the credit. I saw him talking about staying woke culture.
Right.
You know, and I'm saying to myself, whenever he says woke, I'm saying racism.
That's right. Exactly.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I want to produce racism. I want this white supremacy. Whenever he says woke, I think of white supremacy and racism.
I see him as a modern day Hitler, right? And then you look at this country, and you have people who still the previous president who has been it has so many charges, right, against him, right, and that has been impeached twice. It made history in all the wrong ways, right. Probably one of the few presidents in history that has not been reelected for a second term, right. And the fact that you have so many people who buy into this lie. Matter of fact, let me play this little clip here. I found you'll find a little humorous.
Stole the votes. The Dominion voting machines stole the votes. And George Soros, Mark Zuckerberg, paid $400 million to flip the votes. Mike the Pillow Man will tell you that.
So Mike Lindell says that. So that's the fact then, right?
Trump says that. Joe Biden has been dead since 2019.
Oh my God.
James Woods, the actor, is playing Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe Poopy Pants. But the president is trying to get us back down with our economy because...
So he is the president.
Yes, he never conceded. He is very much the president of the republic. Biden has been doing all his White House pictures out there in California at Black Rock Studio with the fake green screen.
And so...
He doesn't even live in the White House. Nobody lives in White House.
Oh, so he's in California?
Yeah.
Well, I don't accept the vote in 2020. You can't. I was downtown Detroit. I watched how they didn't let a lot of the Republicans in. I mean, I don't accept it. Not that I think they totally cheated, but there was some signs and proof that there was cheating going on.
But do you think President Biden won the election more?
No, I never did. No. I mean, how could he get more votes than Obama? I mean...
Well, more people were involved in voting, too. You know, that has always gone up, you know.
Look at these rallies, okay? And you've seen Biden's rallies before he ran.
You know, I've covered politics for a long time. I've never seen anything like Trump rallies. Right. Even, you know, but rallies aren't votes, you know.
Votes, because every single one of us that are here supporting him.
When I go to a Rush concert, I feel like everybody in the world loves Rush, and I leave the building and I realize I'm the only person who loves Rush. So to me, I can't judge it. In courts of law from east to west and north to south, they've said that the election was not stolen, that there weren't irregularities. Why do you remain convinced?
First of all, watch the movie 2,000 Mules. And second of all, it's so obvious that it was because you could see people going to the drop boxes on video camera and sticking a whole lot of ballots in those. And it's just very, very strange to me that here in Detroit, in the city of Detroit, somehow or another, Biden got an extra, 120,000 plus more votes to Donald J. Trump's no votes? No, there's something fishy about that.
Well, we all know about the 2020 elections and what kind of went down, and we just follow a lot of non-mainstream media to learn the real truth about what happened. So
you think that it was a stolen election?
I would say so, as what I have known so far of what I've read and researched. We know the truth. We know what...
You know it above the courts?
I'm not saying I know it above the courts personally as Wendy, but I just believe in what I believe in. And in my heart, I know who won and I know who should be in office. And I believe he still is in office.
So when Donald Trump won, let me just bring it home here.
Mm-hmm.
When Donald Trump won in 2020, and I felt that, the populist vote obviously voted for Hillary Clinton, and I voted for Hillary Clinton because I just saw what Donald Trump was. Then, so I was supposed to feel that Hillary got cheated because Donald won. So if the majority of the country doesn't see it the way that I see it, then the vote was invalid.
Right.
Absolutely
Democracy,
no sense.
when democracy doesn't work in your favor.
Yeah,
right?
it's invalid.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
My God.
Right. So Philadelphia won the Super Bowl. Right?
Exactly.
In Philadelphia, the people in Philadelphia wanted an outcome
exactly that they desired.
They desired, right, and that didn't happen. Like I said, in their hearts and their minds, they can't get their minds wrapped around the fact that the courts, right? Well, and you see when they talk about they're in such a bubble that their sources are the same people who are feeding them this nonsense are now admitting in court that they were lying, right?
But brother, I think as a society, I'm speaking as a society from this perspective, we got to be careful here because the ground is ripe. The soil is fertile for a revolution. It's fertile for a shift in our
this time it will be televised.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's really fertile for that. Because when you look at what happened in the events around the Civil War before that happened, there's some similarities here.
This is what I'm saying. It's just history repeating itself, my brother. You're right on target. Even most recently, Donald Trump, the lawyer, and her name escapes me at this time. She just recently had to come out because she was going to be disbarred, and she said what she was feeding. She had to admit that she was lying. She knew what she was doing was not true. That there was no there, right? She had to admit it, right, in public, right, in order to not lose her license, because she knew you can't, as an attorney, misrepresent the truth.
Well,
you can't.
But all of the attorneys that work for Donald Trump,
it's about money. It's about money. The ones who have some integrity wouldn't cross that line.
Exactly.
And you saw those, right? They came to testify. They would not buy into it. They did. One guy said it was BS, and he was being polite, but he said that wasn't. You can't. You can't. Let's bring the caller in.
Okay.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to the round table.
Peace. Good morning. How y'all doing? It's Jamal calling.
Good morning. How are you, my brother?
All right. Now, what really, is interesting to me, because obviously, people could have their political feelings. They could like Trump. They could like the Republicans, whatever. That's all, whatever. What interests me the most is how far away from reality they're willing to go. And I don't even talk about like the court stuff. I mean, Joe Biden has been dead since 2019.
Right. And that it's a green screen
by the actor James Woods.
Right.
And you can't make this stuff up.
This is why I play, because if I just said that, Jamal, people would be like, oh, he's just making that up, right? These are these rallies, and these are tens of thousands of people there with this cult mentality, right? That, like, these are people's neighbors, these are people's family, and they're
that's the problem. These people have jobs. Okay?
Well, some of them, but yeah.
Well, some of them, but yeah, right. And some of them are retired or whatever they're doing, right? But it is very scary that a grown adult in this, you can not like Biden, you can think he's stupid and old and all that type of stuff, but to think that he's actually dead, being replaced by an actor in front of green screen, that is a bit, that's beyond the pale. Well, that's beyond UFOs and Sasquatch. That's
crazy. But this is what I'm saying, my brother. That Donald Trump is in the White House. I mean, who is the Secret Service? And I mean, they're doing a pretty good job of reenacting the presidency with this actor, because he's getting the Air Force One. We're spending taxpayer money to fly him all over the world and to protect him and his family. But this is what you're up against, right? And even with all this recent stuff, Jamal, with Dominion and Fox News having the folks who were saying this, knowing what they were saying were true and proven lies, they had to tell the truth on the oath. And then they get up, and then Tucker Carlson, right? They release all this video to him, and he shows the few clips, and there aren't many of them. Just some people just walking through the Capitol, right, that day, right? All the other stuff. Oh, this is just a peaceful. Where is the protest?
Well, when I saw that, and I said to myself, so this guy's telling me what I saw, was not true.
What is that saying? Who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes?
But then I asked myself, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at the response to this, though. Why would it be that Vice President Pace, what's his name? Pence is running down to the bunker? Why is it that the Secret Service or the Capitol PD are putting furniture against the door and unholstering their firearm and pointing it at the door?
Right.
Why is it that the Capitol PDs have barricades and they're actually doing the things that fighting, try to help keep that line? Do we do those things? Do they do those things on normal days? See, so I'm looking at this. I'm saying, so the response to this situation bears out the fact that what this guy is saying is a lie.
Right.
He's lying. But you have an element of folks who actually say, well, because we feel that it's up to us to determine who's going to run this country, not everyone else.
Right.
What you see is not what you actually saw.
We're going to believe me or your lying eye. Jamal, Dr. Bradley, stand by. I'm going to give you a little snippet, a little bit more of some of the folks when they said about what happened at Mar-a-Lago about the raids. Listen to this.
It's just a rule of office, and it's a rule of the Justice Department and presidential privilege, which you lose when you lose the presidency or when you leave the presidency.
But every other president has taken stuff home. Every single one has taken classified documents home with them.
Nobody
questioned that.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Anybody in the history of the world.
I'm asking, is there something that disqualifies him from your support in 2024?
Nope.
Honestly, I don't think so.
Why isn't Biden being in trouble for treason?
Well, that I don't know, but there's possible indictment, and there's and there was in New York an indictment, so that's why I'm asking about it.
Right. Well, they have proof that Biden and his son, they got a laptop. Why would the FBI show us that?
What did the laptop tell you?
Oh my
There's a lot on
God!
the
I got laptops.
What?
Sick things, like he does drugs. And he smokes crack, and he sleeps around with everybody, but then he can go to China and Ukraine and make.
So when she said that he smokes crack, he does drugs, he sleeps around, I thought she had switched to Donald Trump, right? Yeah. Because so Jamal, you could easily say, "Are you talking about Trump?"
Well, you can, but my question when I heard that, I said to myself, "Well, who has elected Hunter Biden? He's not the president.
Right.
He's not running for office. Right. Why are you worrying about what this guy's doing when many men or women in America are doing the same thing? Why are we worrying about that?
But
he's not running for office.
But it's clear we're seeing as these things come out about the taxes and Trump's kids running his criminal enterprise that he was calling a company, right? That there's more crime going on in the Trump family. It's like the pot calling the kettle.
Because these people are afraid. Fear is the only rationale that I can think of that will actually make individuals feel that whatever they see that they don't see. All the negativity they see is just not there.
Right.
Because they're afraid.
Right.
Now the question becomes, what are they afraid of?
People that look like us. So Jamal, one of the people in it talked about this movie, 20,000 Mules, which has already been debunked. And this is when you get your sources just from just one organization. And we know, again, that won't even report that they have been caught. They've been busted. All of these folks, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, they all under oath admitted that they were feeding these lies. Right. And these folks continue because there are gullible people like this in the world. And millions of them, unfortunately.
74 million of them.
And at the end of the day, what we should really be, paying attention to is the reason that they can say that, what they said were lies is because they're not newscasters. They're actors who are reading a script.
Right. Their opinion, and that's what they try to hide behind. Not to cut you off, is saying is that their opinion, but you're pretending to be a news.
Exactly. Right. Just because it says news, don't make it news.
Right.
You know. So what they're doing is literally scripted. And they, you know, they're there. Hey, it's 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock news or whatever. Here, you lights are on. You go say this.
Right.
So those people have a choice, a moral choice, just like people in the army or whatever. You don't have to obey a unlawful order. They have the choice, but of course that would have meant their jobs.
Well, that's
of course,
so. Let me
did.
Right. So let me jump in here, Dr. Bradley and Jamal, and then get your feedback on this. So, and they admitted in these filings, right, that they said when they were telling the truth, they were losing viewership. So they went and started telling people what they wanted to hear and not the truth. How do you combat that when you have everything is for profit, right? And these folks listen to these people. These are different folks at these different rallies who believe this because this is what they're being fed. How do you combat that in this world?
Larry, it's exactly like, I don't know if you've ever seen the interviews with the cast of Good Times.
Yes.
Right? But over the years, you know, you had some serious actors in there. You know, the brother who played James Evans, serious actor.
John Amos.
John Amos. And then, of course, Florida Evans, Esther Rolls.
Yeah.
She was a very serious actress.
She was,
type of thing. And even the young boy who played Michael, you know, he had come from, I think, I don't forget what it was, like Ain't No Misbehaving or Raising in Sun, one of them black plays, and he, you know, he had experienced success there. But in any event, and then don't even get me started about Thelma. You know, she came out the world Thelma, right? Theater and everything. And all. She's one of my Facebook friends to this day. She's still fine. But in any event, I say that to say there was this cast of very talented people, and then there was the one skinny comedian dude.
Yeah, Jimmy Walker.
When he hit that thing, Dynamite, and they saw that crowd reaction, then it began where every show just became an opportunity and a setup for him to say Dynamite, because that's all the people wanted to hear.
Right.
And so that's what Fox News did. It was all of their little Trump stuff and all of their little crazy stuff. That was their Dynamite. So it was like, shoot, we don't even need to have to say nothing no more. All we gotta do is come on, do a couple sentences, and then Dynamite, and we get the laugh, we get the boost in the ratings, and that's what people. And so the people who were serious actors resented it and was like, man, we've been diminished to, like, you know, setup guys for this one punchline. And you know, and they resented it, and true journalists resented it at Fox. Remember Shepard Smith? I mean, not like he was Walter Cronkite or something.
Right? No, right.
But you know, but he was like, I can't do that.
Right.
You know, and so he had to bounce.
Right.
You know, he wouldn't take the poison pill.
Right.
And so that's what we need more of, is people who have moral integrity and character. But you know, in this world, it's becoming more rarer and rarer to find.
Well, not only is that,
we're just going to take the check,
because, and that's to the point. They found an audience that will just listen to them. Like they said, when they were fleeing from them, how do we bring them back? We tell them the lies that they want to hear. Right? When they called the election, truthfully, Arizona for Joe Biden, they started seeing this defection. And when the people there, they Tucker Carlson wanted some of the folks fired who actually did their job.
But the thing is that I think that also shines a light on the industry itself, because they were using what you're saying here. They were moving from Fox to Newsmax and One American News, where they were getting what they wanted. But if all those news agencies were doing the right thing, then there would be no other alternative.
But to Jamal's point, they're not news agencies. They're representing themselves as a news outlet, right?
Yeah, but they're providing information for public consumption.
Yeah.
And there got to be some type of responsibility for providing information for public consumption. You just can't outright go into a theater and say, there's a fire, and then there's a person right. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So you have to have a situation where you're providing information. There got to be some kind of some level of some degree or a degree of accuracy that's that associated with the information that you're providing.
Well, how
Professor Bradley, Dr. Bradley.
Both of those are true, by the way. But go on.
Exactly. That's why I said it. and I brought this up because, you know, as the guy who introduced police decertification to Massachusetts, the argument there was just like a lawyer. If a lawyer cheats an old lady out of the will or something, he can get disbarred. If a doctor does a bad, butt lift, they can lose their license, right? Okay, so the concept was that, okay, now police officers, if something happens wrong, they could lose their license to be police. When I was getting interviewed about this across the state and across the country, I told journalists, because they loved it. They were like, "Oh yeah, police, decertified police." I said, "Well, don't talk too quick, because after this, I'm trying to get journalists certified." Right? And I think, literally, I think that there should be some sort of, there are plenty of professional associations, but like lawyers, like doctors, now like police, I think that if you engage in what I would call, I guess, malpractice, or you break the sacred oath that you took as a journalist. So if you knowingly do something that's untrue or you fabricate, like happened here with Mike Barnacle and them, where they just were making up. Yeah, I had a conversation with little Tyrone, and there was no Tyrone. They were just making up characters and all this type of stuff. That type of stuff would get you, quote unquote, disbarred or decertified from journalism, right? And there could be sanctions against the entity that you worked for, as well as an individual who did it.
I agree with that. So, but gentlemen, to that point, right? We used to, and I emphasize used to have safeguards, because we would turn off things like that, right? We would not listen to it, and once they were exposed, they paid a price for it, right? They weren't back on when what's his name there, Williams, right? Brian Williams got caught claiming he was at a war and he wasn't. Those things, he was removed from there. So that doesn't happen. I mean, not only that, Tucker Carlson doubles down on it, right? And he gets back on there, even after all this is released. He comes back on, and he's still telling that lie
because there's no punishment for it. There's no ramification for the behavior. But I think being decertified or being having a industry-wide standard that says that information regardless if you're a journalist or you just reporting, whatever the case may be, that the information has to have accuracy associated with it. Other than that, you will be decertified. You will be removed.
But also, let me take it a step further, gentlemen. I want to get your feedback on this. Is that this whole fake Congress here, the weaponization committee, right? That really is, you now have elected officials who are in control of the Congress, who are feeding this lie as well, who know it's not true, who gave this information. The Speaker of the House gave this information, these videos to Tucker Carlson, right, with the intent of continuing to spread this lie. You have the crazy Taylor, that are going to these jails and saying these people are victims. They're victims, right? They're criminals. They pled guilty to their crimes, right? That this was a peaceful demonstration. People visiting the Capitol. This was an insurrection. People were killed. Officers were hurt and maimed, right? So this was not a peaceful demonstration, and yet so it's not just where you would expect, okay, you listen to these people and you say, well, okay, what's their education level and understanding of reality, right? But these are people who we elect, people were elected by someone in their community to represent them. So they're representing that population, those millions of people that you're talking about, Dr. Bradley. These are their spokespeople now, and they have the bully pulpit, and they're holding hearings on foolishness, on whether or not somebody's Twitter. When I don't even watch, but it's just some of the clips I've seen, and they've said, the reason why we suspended it because we warned you that you were spilling lies about COVID and other things, and we told you to stop, and you didn't. So that's why we suspended your account, not because you were a Republican or conservative. How do we deal with that, gentlemen?
Well, I'm not quite sure how we. I think one of the problems as you were speaking that came to my mind is that while we're doing all this, our adversaries throughout the world are taking our lunch money, especially on the world stage. So we're so busy dealing with this nonsense that we're dealing with. But I think again, one of the ways that I think we should start dealing with it is that we need, as a society, people need to say, okay, what can I do? What can I do to prevent this? What can I do to stop this? Because we all have something that we can do. I chose to say, well, whoever support these individuals, I will not support them. if we had most of society take that position, because the color in America is green, things will change. So we need to look at it individually. What can we do to stop this situation?
But Jamal, to Dr. Bradley's point, you have folks, millions, tens of millions of people of that mindset that they are now, even with all of this, with two-time, right, impeached president, he has multiple lawsuits, right? He's most likely getting ready to be indicted out of a case, one of the many in New York. He is the front runner for that party to be reelected.
Yeah, but think about this, Olay. Think about this. The Republicans have not won a general, I should say a public, the population has in the vote for years. You know what I mean? They have won the Electoral College, unfortunately, and that's a whole nother conversation. But the populist vote, they have not won it. And I think America overall can see where they're going. And then my other hit is this. The Republicans' agenda today is almost identical to what the Democrat agenda was in 1864.
But also to the George Wallace era. You know, I mean, you remember George Wallace. I know you're a young guy, but this is just reminiscent of the things I've read in this country. And this is what's alarming to me, that folks aren't paying enough attention, folks who need to be paying attention, that, you know, like Hitler wanted to burn books and to decide what people could read, like the guy in Florida and other folks, and what women can and cannot do with their bodies and stuff. We're seeing this, and
that's where I'm going.
You know, this is a boiling pot. Go ahead, Jamal.
And that's really it. So, you know, as you brought up the Hitler thing, and, you know, I hate when people overuse Hitler or compare something to Hitler or the Holocaust or whatever, but in this case, this part is very
spot on. Right.
So what Hitler did is, of course, his rise to power was because he manufactured a set of circumstances that worked to his benefit.
Hello, Donald Trump.
Now,
hello, Donald Trump.
Once he got in power, right, he would not have been as powerful without the mindless masses.
Right.
There would have been no rise of Nazism to the point of the extermination of over 6 million Jews had the populace not been like, okay, right?
Yep.
So the fact that these people, these sheeple, can be led, this is what has happened to insurrect. Look, the Tutus and the Hutsis, you know, somebody put out there that, you know, hey, this group is bad, we should kill this group, and then, as you say, civil war ensues, right? Any cult, you know, Jim Jones wouldn't have been Jim Jones if the people didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Literally, right?
Right. So what we have here is a bunch of people who are willingly drinking, you know, from something that they know is, you know, what they say, in law, you can't have the fruit from the poison tree.
Right.
You know, these people picking up the fruit and shoving it down their throat.
Right, but also to that point, we have an example playing out right now in Russia, right, with Putin, right, where people can't. So we have an example of what it looks like to be in an autocratic country, right? We see it in China, right, where you can't even call a war, right? I mean, and you get arrested and thrown in jail and murdered in some instances, right? So we know what this looks like. And as I always said, when they came for this population, no one said anything. When they came for that population, no. And then when they came for me, there was no one left.
You have to say something. But you can see, unfortunately, China is showing us what could possibly happen in America if we let this continue.
I think Russia is
Russia has always been there, but China, Xi and the Communist Council of China just did something that I see could possibly happen in America if Donald Trump is back in office. And what he did was, and they allowed it, he suspended the 2-term limit for presidency.
So didn't Putin. He's president for life.
Yeah. So when they suspended it, then at this point he can stay in power for life.
Yeah.
I see that happening in America if Donald Trump is back in office.
He already called this. Yeah. Donald Trump called for the suspension of the Constitution, their beloved Constitution. He said it should be suspended.
That's
so
where
he
he's
could
going.
right. So he's already called for it.
Yep. And I see him acting on it if he's back in office. And I think that's possible. That's very possible if he's, even if he's indicted. I guarantee he will not move out. I guarantee he will run.
And there's nothing in the Constitution that says if you're indicted, even if you're convicted, that you can't become the president of the United States. There's something inherently wrong here. Jamal, how do we I don't think you can fix all that.
The president is a criminal,
right? But how do we? I think get folks more informed and involved in the process, the political process, whether they want to or not. But out of the necessity for their own well-being, for their own existence, because folks are coming after folks. I mean, every time you turn around, there's a new bill in some of these crazy red states that, we want to do things different. Like down in Mississippi, they want to take people's rights away from electing judges and give it to the Republicans down there. In Jackson, Mississippi, which is the only majority black city in the state. It's the poorest state in the country. I told my sister I don't know why she fell in love with somebody down there, and I have to go down there every now and then to visit. I hate going there.
Yeah,
but
I don't. Wow.
But we're seeing people's rights being not just people, mainly people of color, and people who they see as different. The LGBT community is under siege right now. In a lot of these states, they're passing all these laws that are restrictive. I tell folks, it's not just that population. That's what they want, a wink and a nod. You're next.
Well, I don't know much. I'm sorry. Go on, Jamal. Go on.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say I don't know much at all about the Mississippi situation. I just briefly heard that they were trying to redo how judges are elected. But what struck me when I heard about it was that it's predominantly in the black. It's
not predominantly. It is the only.
Okay, right. So it's run by a black a governor, a mayor, right?
Right.
So. And it's also the city that had the water problem,
right? And when the money came in, now the state wants to control how the money is spent. Right.
And knowing that, from what little I have read, is that there were numerous times that the city leadership petitioned the state for money and funds to deal with this issue, and they never returned.
That's correct.
The money, or never even acknowledged that they needed the problem.
That is correct.
Okay,
Jamal.
All right. So as Dr. Bradley would say, here's my hit. Now, the brother who was the mayor down there, his name was Chokwe Lumumba.
Okay.
He is the son of my mentor and elder, Chokwe Lumumba Sr. Chokwe Lumumba Sr. was a revolutionary attorney who purposely left, where did he come from originally? I want to say Detroit, I think. And went from Detroit down to Mississippi intentionally. Do y'all remember the Republic of New Africa, RNA? When we're talking about reparations and whatnot, these are the people, associated with the Black Panthers and all this type of thing, who created a provisional government, Republic of New Africa, and they said that we want the 5 lower states, based off of the work we've done for the land, that would have been our form of reparations, so that we could have a nation within a nation.
Okay.
Mississippi was one of those places, along with others, except for Florida, because we knew they wasn't giving up Disneyland. But now the young brother Chokwe, he's got to be 40-something, younger than me, but now he is the mayor after his father had become the mayor and then tragically died within a year of office. But now he's down there and he's been hit with all these crises after crises. Now, here's the rub on that. They ain't trying to help him.
No.
They hate him.
Right.
They hated his daddy before him.
Right.
Okay? They hope that black community of Jackson, as Larry said, it's one of the blackest places on earth. Like New Orleans or something like that.
Right.
And they are hoping that he fails.
Right.
And they are hoping that citizenry lives in destitution in the water. Now, it's another little Flint. And oftentimes these places, as you see, that have majority black populations, they ain't trying to help.
No.
They're putting in machinations and whatnot to actually exacerbate the problem or speed up. I know he's going to die at 80. What can we do to make sure he dies 65? Can we speed up the death process? That's what these people are doing, and it really is calculated. But yeah, shout out to Mayor Chokwe Lumumba of Jackson, Mississippi. I know him. I know his father. That's good stock right there, and that is really a man of the people trying to do the right thing. And he's trying to get things done, but boy, he got all the forces against him.
Yeah. Right. So Jamal and Dr. Bradley, how do folks like us support them? Because I've reached out. My sister, unfortunately, I said, she is of the faith of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they don't vote. So I can't even have a conversation with her about politics and things of that nature and getting involved, because they won't get involved in that manner. But
are they allowed to support people through funding, through activities who are running for office?
No, because they don't get involved in politics. They don't get involved in
politics.
Right, and that's...
Okay, well, there got to be a way that they can, within this, the scope of their religion, support people who are in office.
No, I don't. Send me the money. I'll send it to them.
I'm saying,
right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
you can do whatever you can, but what I'm saying that we have to do something. We all can do something. I choose, because I'm very conscious of where money is spent, sometimes against my wife's wishes, like going to Disney World for the grandkids and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I choose to say, well, I'm not putting my money here. And I think if enough of us say that, then you will see a change in attitude.
That what you're saying has been proven, right? The bus boycotts and the lunch counter. So absolutely, right? That's as Rupert Murdoch said, it's not red or blue, it's green.
Right? I mean, but you speaking of bus boycotts, the bus boycotts were used all throughout the South. Yeah. In fact, I can think of one in 1942. The Mobile in Mobile, Alabama.
Thank you, Dougie Fresh.
Which was the one that was actually happened before the one in Birmingham, where there was a no walk. Walk to work, walk to church, walk to shop campaign, and because at that time they were arming bus drivers to deal with black men who were coming from the north, who were in uniform when the country military uniform, and so they actually dealt with bus drivers that way. They armed bus drivers, and so after one bus driver killed this individual, the black people said, "Mobile, Alabama, we're not going to use it," and hey, it stopped. So boycotting is a way to go. And I'm sorry, Jamal, are you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, so to that point. Now, Dr. Bradley, at some point, we lost our ever-loving mind because we used to do that, right? Boycott. We knew something was bad for us. We said, you're not getting our money.
That's
whether it's the bus, the restaurant, the department store, the whatever, okay? And we did for ourselves. And as you know, pre-integration, we had our own funeral homes, barber shops, So
our own schools,
everything, hospitals, all this type of stuff. So we dealt with our own thing. Okay, then integration. Instead of boycotting establishments that treated us badly, then we began protesting to say, "Hey, Mr. Racist Man, we demand that you allow us to give you our money."
Right, you're right.
So now think about stuff like Woolworths. Imagine if all those black people said, instead of sitting in at the counters and getting your little nasty hamburger, what if we started, Walekum burgers back in the day? What if we started that back then? Because we don't need Woolworths.
Right.
We were fighting to give Woolworths our money. So somewhere we should have been boycotting Woolworths, and now we're protesting. Please let us in so we can be discriminated against. Please.
I mean, you're right. That's a very interesting point.
And a true one.
Moving from boycott, to protest, because boycott was much more effective. As I go through the history of America and talk, pre-civil rights movement, you can see numerous boycotts happening because of buses. All right, because of Jim Crow law said that we have to be put in our place, and our people start to say, we're not giving you our money.
Right.
In fact, I can think of in the 1930s, Durham, North Carolina, had a little section called Haiti. And that Haiti section was all black. It was the Black Wall Street in Durham, just like they had in Tulsa. They also had it in Durham, North Carolina.
Right.
And
Jamal, that's right. Were those people of Haitian descent too?
Right.
Some of them were.
Right.
But a lot of them was actually coming in from other parts of the country. Focusing on Durham because Durham hosted military bases, and so they had black people that were serving in the military had to find services somewhere. They did it in that little small community.
Wow, this has been a very enlightening conversation, but at the same time very depressing. It puts me in the mindset, and I was thinking about the Supreme Court and how it's populated now. It reminded me of the scene in the movie Amistad, and you looked up there and these people who didn't really care for us we're going to be deciding our fate. And I feel like we're right back that
we are there.
That the strategy was they realize that it's not just the politicians they be replaced, but these folks are put in these places. These judges have lifetime appointments in the Supreme Court, right? The Supreme Court, the ultimate decision makers who are not elected and not have no accountability whatsoever, get to decide. They're overturning these laws, these protections for people, right? And that was the strategy with Mitch McConnell. He didn't care about the crazy person in the Oval Office. He knew he'd only be there at worst case 8 years. But these judges would be able to do their bidding a lot longer, and no one can overturn what they do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know,
the judges would represent the legacy of that particular president.
It's
that
crazy.
That would be the legacy.
It's crazy. Jamal, as always, thank you for such an enlightenment. We're going to, at 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about this problem, and feel free to call them way back in. It is I apologize, it's the Boston, the convention center over in South Boston.
Okay.
With all of these racial problems. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that, but it seems to be a lot going on. Again, I know this is breaking news and shocking to you, Jamal. I hope you're sitting down. But there's discrimination allegedly going on at the Boston Convention Center. Can you believe that?
I can't hear no more, so I'm gonna get off the line.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Peace.
All right. Oh man, but I'm just almost lost for words because we're in such dire straits.
Well, we're right back to where we were.
All right,
we'll pick it up.
We're gonna take our break. We'll be right back. You listen to At the Round Table with Manley.
My wife, she was having some Chinese food. Her ears were hurting.
Oh.
This is for